Well, I won't be so bold as to say you heard it here first, but you certainly heard it here. When the Pixel 8 Pro and the Pixel 8 came out, we had a long discussion about how Google was learning a little too well from Apple and creating scenarios where they would artificially nerf devices in order to justify a price increase between certain classes of their own phones. And what they learned from the Pixel 7 Pro, from the Pixel 6 Pro, is that the zoom capabilities, the 120 hertz refresh rate, and the extra RAM were not enough to justify for most users that $300 price difference. So they had to come up with something else. And that's what we got with AI. They're using the AI stuff to differentiate these phones now. So that's why it did not surprise me when I saw this story this morning. There was some podcast at MWC with Google developers or something like that, where they essentially said that some of the higher end Gemini AI features would not be coming to the Pixel 8 while they exist on the Pixel 8 Pro. And you could point to RAM, you could point to storage speeds. There's a couple things you could point to. But for the most part, I'm telling you right now, it is an artificial nerfing of the device so they could sit there and justify that $300 price increase between these two, because otherwise they really couldn't do it. That's all this boils down to. That's what you're looking at. Cameras were not enough to sell these phones anymore. Everybody was doing Zoom. Everybody was doing the AI stuff, the computational photography. There's so many different things that they were trying and doing with these devices that there really needed to be something else there in order to break out of the fact, well, it was just preference at one point. You know, between all these devices, it was literally just preference, what you wanted in Zoom and how you liked the photos and stuff like that. That was not going to be the battleground that companies fought on going forward, and it's certainly not what they would use to justify different prices for different classes of devices. So while it's disappointing, for sure, especially for Pixel 8 users, you saved the money, you got yourself a fantastic device, and it doesn't mean you're not going to get any features. All it really means is that you're going to see that Google's going to use that excuse to kind of pick and choose which features you get. So while you're still going to get your 7 years of support, you're still going to get feature drops, you're still going to get things that you could do on the phone. Google, when they want to pull one back and they want to say, well, you're not getting a video boost or you're not getting whatever else they come up with on the higher end Gemini stuff, that's what they're going to do. So, yes, you're going to get circle to search like we do on the older devices. The Pixel 7 Pro's got that. Pixel Fold does not. Interesting. We're going to have a discussion on that a little bit later on. I'm going to take a look. That's going to be its own. The Pixel Fold is going to be its own video because that really annoys me. I'm using it now. That one annoys me more than most, and I think there's less hope there for the Pixel Fold than there is for some of these other devices that Google puts out. But Google's Googling, and we talked about it. They learned a little bit too well from Apple. They learned how to do this. They learned that there's a way that they could sort of have these classes of devices that they could charge, $1,000 over here and $600, $700 over here. And when people start questioning, it's like, wait a minute, you're telling me that the Zoom and the extra RAM and the 120 hertz are worth $300 more? And you saw it down the line, MKBHD. Every time there was a review, there wasn't that dollar amount didn't match up. There was no justification for that extra dollar amount to buy one device over the other, unless you wanted the bigger display or whatever it was. Unless you had a specific need to buy a Pro, there was really no reason. A lot of people bought Pixel 8s. A lot of people bought Pixel 7s. Really nice phones. You're getting a lot for it. And don't devolve this into a discussion of, I don't care about AI. The AI is scary. Well, I get it. Look, you could not like AI. This is an economic discussion. This is a business discussion. This is how these companies and phones are going to be doing this going forward. Don't think Samsung doesn't have like this waiting in the pipeline. Don't think there's going to be something. You already saw it. The S22 Ultra is not getting the AI, the Samsung 6.1 AI enhancements. Okay, so they're already booting up their whatever they're going to, whether it's a pay model or whatever it is. Samsung's already got theirs in the background. Don't think that this is a Google exclusive problem. It's not. You're going to see a lot of companies now. I'm sure Apple's going to have something like this in the future. Even though they don't need it, they could just charge whatever they want anyway. But you're going to see companies coming up with these things to justify and differentiate these devices. Because right now, it's not there anymore. The cameras have gotten too good. Features have gotten too good. Your daily tasks and daily needs have not grown exponentially in the past 5 or 6 years. So the extra power and the ray tracing and all this stuff that they're giving you and flaunting and flashing in these presentations really in day-to-day use doesn't matter. But AI does. Some of these things that they have in there, whether it's live call translate, with all these things that they're coming up with, actually have day-to-day applications that you're going to want to use, that actually make life a little easier, that they make these phones more useful. That's why I didn't necessarily jump up and down when the Tensor 3 didn't benchmark as well as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. I didn't care. I didn't care because that really wasn't the focus of this phone. This phone was focused on the experience. It's a smooth experience. It runs well, but there's only so much power needed to run Instagram at this point. There's only so much power needed to run Twitter. How much do you need for a scroll? Has it really changed that much in the past 3 or 4 years? A Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 runs Twitter just fine. A Snapdragon 888 runs Twitter just fine at 120 hertz. So what's going to be the thing that drives people to buy new phones? And when they held back the features on the base Pixel 8, you knew it was coming. Because not only do they have to have different price classes of devices, they got to upgrade you year over year. So the Pixel 9 Pro is going to have AI enhancements that the Pixel 8 Pro can't have. And they'll say it's hardware again, whether that's true or not. They'll sit there and say, well, there's limitations, so we got to run this so it can run on the device, or it can't access the cloud. They're going to come up with any different reason they can in order to get you to upgrade now. But it's not going to be cameras. It's not going to be performance, because we've reached a point where that matters a little less. So they had to come up with something else. And AI was sitting there, and they're like, you know what? We could start gatekeeping features on AI and use that as the reason why you have to pay more money. Google's not alone. They're the first out of the box. They tried to muddy the waters a little bit because they were like, well, we give you some of the stuff to the Pixel 7 Pro, not stuff to the Fold, not stuff to the 8. We'll say the blah, 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 back and forth to where you don't even know it. But now the Google developers are straight up come out and said it, which is now you know this is the direction. We knew when they released, okay? You could go back and watch that video when these phones came out. I think I did a video specifically on the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro and the limited features on the Pixel 8 that were being held back. We knew it was coming then. Now we just have confirmation that this is the way it's going to be. So you're going to have to make a decision. For most people, the AI stuff's not going to matter. If you want a phone that's just going to be a phone, that's fine. But if you want a lot of the future stuff, if you want the next level experience that these phones are going to start having, then the AI stuff is going to be more and more important. So, you know, while you get some of the stuff now, you're going to get your feature drops. You're going to get a lot of stuff on the Pixel 8. I'm sure there's stuff coming down the pike that makes the daily experience and changes the daily experience, whether it's AR, whatever it's going to be with AI on these devices. There's stuff coming that's going to be cool, and that's going to be the reason that they get you to upgrade and spend more money going forward. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.